The Ghurids or Ghorids were a dynasty of Eastern Iranian descent, from the Ghor region of present-day central Afghanistan. The dynasty converted to Sunni Islam from Buddhism, after the conquest of Ghor by the Ghaznavid Emperor Mahmud of Ghazni in 1011. Ali ibn Muhammad was the first Muslim king of the Ghurid dynasty to construct mosques and Islamic schools in Ghor. The dynasty overthrew the Ghaznavid Empire in 1186, when Sultan Mu'izz ad-Din Muhammad of Ghor conquered the last Ghaznavid capital of Lahore. At the zenith, the Ghurid Empire encompassed Khorasan in the west and reached northern India as far as Bengal in the east. The first capital was Firozkoh in Mandish, Ghor, which was later replaced by Herat, while Ghazni and Lahore were used as additional capitals, especially during winters. The Ghurids were patrons of Persian culture and heritage. The Ghurids were succeeded in Khorasan and Persia by the Khwarezmian dynasty, and in northern India by the Mamluk dynasty of the Delhi Sultanate. Origins. In the 19th century, some European scholars, such as Mount Stuart Elphinstone, favored the idea that the Ghurid dynasty relate to today's Pashtun people, but this is generally rejected by modern scholarship and, as explained by Morgenstern in the Encyclopedia of Islam, is for various reasons very improbable. Instead, the consensus in modern scholarship holds that the dynasty was most likely of Tajik origin. Bosworth further points out that the actual name of the Ghurid family, Ali Sansib, is the Arabic pronunciation of the originally Middle Persian name Wisnasp, hinting at a Persian origin. The Guristan region remained primarily populated by Hindus and Buddhists till the 12th century. It was then Islamized and gave rise to the Ghurids. The rise to power of the Ghurids at Ghor, a small isolated area located in the mountained vastness between the Ghaznavid Empire and the Seljukids, was an unusual and unexpected development. The area was so remote that till the 11th century it had remained a Hindu enclave surrounded by Muslim principalities. It was converted to Islam in the early part of the 12th century after Mahmud raided it, and left teachers to instruct the Ghurids in the precepts of Islam. Even then it is believed that paganism, i.e. a variety of Mahayana Buddhism, persisted in the area till the end of the century. Language. The language of the Ghurids is subject to some controversy. What is known with certainty is that it was considerably different from the Persian used as literary language at the Ghaznavid court. Nevertheless, like the Samanids and Ghaznavids, the Ghurids were great patrons of Persian literature, poetry, and culture, and promoted these in the courts as their own. There is nothing to confirm the recent surmise that the Ghurids were Pashto-speaking, and there is no evidence that the inhabitants of Ghor were originally Pashto-speaking. Contemporary book writers refer to them as the Persianized Ghurids. History. Early history. A certain Ghori prince named Amir Banji was the ruler of Ghori, an ancestor of the medieval Ghori rulers. His rule was legitimized by the Abbasid Caliph Harun al-Rashid. Before the mid-12th century, the Ghoris had been bound to the Ghaznavids and Seljuks for about 150 years. Beginning in the mid-12th century, Ghor expressed its independence from the Ghaznavid Empire. In 1149, the Ghaznavid ruler Bahram Shah of Ghazni poisoned a local Ghori leader, Qutb al-Din Muhammad, who had taken refuge in the city of Ghazni after having a quarrel with his brother Saif al-Din Suri. In revenge, Saif marched towards Ghazni and defeated Bahram Shah. However, one later year, Bahram returned and scored a decisive victory against Saif, who was shortly captured and crucified at Pula Yaktak. Baha al-Din Saman, another brother of Saif, set out to avenge the death of his two brothers, but died of natural causes before he could reach Ghazni. Ala al-Din Hussein, one of the youngest of Saif's brothers and newly crowned Ghurid king, also set out to avenge the death of his two brothers. He managed to defeat Bahram Shah, and then had Ghazni sacked and burned and put the city into fire for 7 days and 7 nights. It earned him the title of Jahan Suz, meaning the world burner. The Ghaznavids retook the city with Seljuk help, but lost it to Oghuz Turks. In 1152, Ala al-Din Hussein refused to pay tribute to the Seljuks and instead marched an army from Firozkoh but was defeated and captured at Nab by Sultan Ahmed Sunja. Ala al-Din Hussein remained a prisoner for 2 years, until he was released in return for a heavy ransom to the Seljuks. Meanwhile, a rival of Ala al-Din named Hussein ibn Nazir al-Din Muhammad al-Madani had seized Firozkoh, but was murdered at the right moment when Ala al-Din returned to reclaim his ancestral domain. Ala al-Din spent the rest of his reign in expanding the domains of his kingdom. He managed to conquer Gharkistan, Tukharistan, and Bamiyan, and later gave Bamiyan and Tukharistan to Fakhr al-Din Masood, starting the Bamiyan branch of the Ghurids. Ala al-Din died in 1161, and was succeeded by his son Saif al-Din Muhammad, who shortly died 2 years later in a battle. The Ghurids at the zenith. Saif al-Din Muhammad was succeeded by his cousin Ghiyath al-Din Muhammad, who was the son of Baha al-Din Samai, and proved himself to be a capable king. Right after Ghiyath's ascension, he, with the aid of his loyal brother Mu'izz al-Din Muhammad, killed a rival Ghurid chief named Abu Abbas. Ghiyath then defeated his uncle Fakhr al-Din Masood, who claimed the Ghurid throne and had allied with the Seljuk governor of Herat and Balkh. In 1173, Mu'izz al-Din Muhammad reconquered the city of Ghazni and assisted his Ghiyath in his contest with Ghznavid Empire for the lordship of Khorasan. Mu'izz al-Din Muhammad captured Multan and Uch in 1175 and annexed the Ghaznavid Principality of Lahore in 1186. He was alleged by contemporary historians to exact revenge for his great-grandfather Muhammad ibn Suri. After the death of his brother Ghiyath in 1202, he became the successor of his empire and ruled until his assassination in 1206 near Jhelum by Kaka tribesmen. Decline and fall. A confused struggle then ensued among the remaining Ghurid leaders, and the Ghaznavids were able to take over the Ghurids Empire in about 1215. Though the Ghurids Empire was short-lived, Mu'izz al-Din Muhammad's conquests strengthened the foundations of Muslim rule in India. On his death, the importance of Ghazni and Ghor dissipated and they were replaced by Delhi as the center of Islamic influence during the rule of his successor. Sultans in India. Cultural influences. The Ghurids were great patrons of Persian culture and literature and lay the basis for a Persianized state in India. They also transferred Iranian architecture of the native lands to India, of which several great examples have been preserved to this date. However, most of the literature produced during the Ghurid era has been lost. Out of the Ghurid state grew the Delhi Sultanate, which established the Persian language as the official court language of the region, a status it retained until the late Mughal era in the 19th century. Blue shaded rose signifies Ghurid vassalage under the Ghaznavids. Yellow shaded rose signifies Ghurid vassalage under the Seljuks. Green shaded rose signifies Ghurid vassalage under the Khwarezmian dynasty. Bamiyan branch green shaded rose signifies Ghurid vassalage under the Khwarezmian dynasty. Ghurid family tree